General Greene, all glory to the King. I have a very important emergency video today. I encourage you to please share it, like it. Get it out to your friends and family on this July 7th, 2024. A great evil is now upon us worldwide. All eyes should be looking up. A great deception, an evil deception, of which we read in the Bible, and we're going to go to some verses today, that man will consume his own flesh if left to his own devices. Many of you remember that big video that I put out with millions of views that was suddenly, just like we see a lot of people, falling suddenly nowadays, right? Can't talk about the topic. But for those of you that have been with me for years now, going on almost 20 years, you've noticed that I've had millions of views and videos with millions and millions of views that went viral in a number of days, and then they were suddenly just gone, removed. And we're going to talk about that video today because it's culminating into this dramatic moment in this hour, July 7th, 2024, of which I want you to like up to 10,000 likes if you can get it up there, and share with your friends and family, because not only is a great deception here, but many will be deceived. This includes the elect and those in charge that shouldn't be, that are in charge of global society, and these operations are now going live and operational with what I've been warning about for years now. And we have reached a point where there's been critical mass built in recent years, as I guess we'll just call them, these people have aligned all of this pre-planned. They had it ready to go years ago, whether or not it was AI, whether or not they were telling us about the singularity and the direction of all this new technology. Well, now it's here. The biggest deception in world history is now going to hit all of us in the face, hard-hitting and in your face. And it's going to take over the world. And this is going to be the biggest technological deception and tower of Babylon, which will soon collapse, that we have ever witnessed in human history. I always think about the book of Ecclesiastes, which is one of my favorite. King Solomon, king of Israel, and I reread constantly the fact that nothing is new under the sun, that, again, man will eat his own flesh if left to his own devices. And this is what is literally happening now. This is no joke, but the cabal, the elites, the powers that shouldn't be, are now in process of eating their own flesh. And you might think that that sounds dramatic, but it's not. This merriment of man with machine that I've been warning about for some time now, this technological merger of which the global cabal is now rolling out life extension technologies, gene editing software, brain implants, which we've seen through Elon Musk, and we're going to ask some very important questions around that today, and a host of other individuals. You know who the usual suspects are. So we don't even need to name all of their names. We know where this is headed. So please share this video. I just encourage you. We have 500 people in the room. We have about 100 likes. It really is up to you to get it up to 1,000 likes. Guys, I can't do it without you, okay? I am a servant of God. I am here to spread the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ and to save souls. But I can't do it without you. I can only do it through the grace and in good conscience, along with you, his people, his followers, believers and non-believers. Maybe you're just coming into this video, you're thinking for the first time. Maybe there's something to this. Christopher, maybe you're right about this. Maybe I should educate myself. Maybe I should actually read a little bit of the Bible today. Get into the book of Ecclesiastes. Maybe I'll investigate what General Greene has to say about the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe this world is fallen. Maybe as I look around me and I just see a world filled with sin, envy, greed, hate, lust, war, famine, disease, death. Maybe there's some truth to it. I see Unpopular Truth says the book of Matthew, recommending that. So I need your help to share the content. I've read every single book pretty much ever published regarding the technological singularity. For those of you that don't know what that is, the father of the concept of the singularity is a man by the name of Ray Kurzweil, a former Google technologist who has now just made a stark, cunning, and I believe deceiving warning as they pre-position man's transhuman merger, biological integration with machines, which, by the way, I can't even talk about, was the reason for everything that happened in the years of the lockdowns. For those of you that want to choose to believe that or not, I'm going to tell you to go to God and go to prayer, but those of us with discernment knew it from day one, that that was the agenda, and we would be here. And so I am warning you of the gravest, of the gravest, of the darkest, of the most evil and cunning deceptions to be revealed, not just to the American public, but worldwide from all corners of the earth as a part of God's plan, and the revelations that we have only read about and heard from, as the young men will have visions, old men will have dreams, as we talked about yesterday, and where all of this is headed and how you can navigate with the certainty, the steadfastness, the surety, the wholesomeness, and the perfection of God, and through the light and the truth as we wade through this incredible darkness. So I do encourage you, if you haven't studied this stuff, please do. Open up your Bibles, read Ray Kurzweil's books. He just came out with another one, and as I have warned, all of this will be going mainstream this year, in 2024 into 2030s. All of it like a drum, pre-planned, pre-engineered, pre-conjured, pre-manufactured, pre-manipulated, predictively programmed, all of it. And again, we're not fighting really against worldly things. We're fighting against spirituality and principalities and dark forces and evil. This is a war not of aliens, like they keep selling all of you, which are fake and not real. This is a war of demons versus the angels, darkness versus light. Now, again, we've seen these predictions manifest. For example, a barbell-shaped UFO was officially discovered by a Pentagon contractor, member of the DOD out in Canada, and this was revealed to the American public along with the fake news, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC in recent years. This is why they're suddenly revealing UAPs, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, other types of objects in the sky, drones, etc. This is all a part of the psychological psyop that they've been planning and rolling out and now generating through generative AI, the singularity movement, of which we need to ask some very important questions. I want you to go to God with these questions today, and I want you to pray about it in your own time. For example, Ray Kurzweil, for those of you that know who he is, and we're going to get into some of these major developments today in this groundbreaking video soon with 1,000 likes, thanks to you. Are these people leading from a place of Christianity, faith, and serving God, or are they leading from a place of man and consuming their own flesh, like it warns about us in the Bible? It very poignantly in the book of Ecclesiastes, for example, one of my favorite. Is Elon Musk leading as the leading technologist today? Is he leading from a Christian perspective, developing all of his companies, the Neuralink brain implant chip, all the satellites in our sky, working directly with the DOD, the Pentagon, the PayPal mafia, DARPA? Is he leading from a place of faith and God and Jesus and Christianity, or is he leading from a place of man consuming his own flesh. Again, all the sins: greed, envy, lust, jealousy, hate, the suffering and the sinfulness that we, of course, see in this world. And I'm not here to tell you that answer. God is. So go to God in your own time, pray about that, and pray regarding your political leadership. Are these people leading Christ first, or are they leading for themselves? Are they consuming their own flesh? Again, nothing is new under the sun. It is a fool's errand. I'm going to read direct scripture to you today as well, the book of Ecclesiastes, and ask yourself these questions as they roll out. The most significant, demonic, evil, hateful, sinful, what could only be considered the consumption directly of man's flesh, and the biological integration and malfeasant meddling of the perfection of human life and God's creation through all kinds of quote unquote Frankenstein scientific experiments with no legal liability. You know what I'm talking about here. And all other kind of hosts of technologies which are going to be directly predicated, implanted, integrated via synapses into your biological infrastructure, and then according to them launched on a friggin' cloud of which the globalist cabal elites control and profit from. So I want you to think very deeply and intently about this warning, spiritual warning. So Ray Kurzweil, what many consider a tech prophet, because again, the elites are building an AI god. They worship the technological Tower of Babel. They worship themselves. This is why they're seeking life extension. They don't believe in death. They believe in living forever. They believe in controlling other people. They believe in meddling with other people. This is why they removed your rights in 2020. We've seen this all throughout history. It's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. The world has always been based on a feudalistic type society, whether or not it was, legitimate slavery or kings and queens and feudalism and lords, or it's today fake illusion of freedom, which is still ruled by oligopolists, kings, a feudal class society, of which they're moving forward in a much more apparent way now that pretty much everybody can see. Hyperinflation, economic collapse, lockdowns, closure of your business, no mobility, don't go to church, put a face mask on your face, no free speech, censorship. You guys can see the truth about all of this on a daily basis. Control the food supply, the air, the water. They were lying to you. Of course, they're spraying the skies. Yes, they're manipulating the weather. Yes, they're spraying chemicals all over your food, in the air. No, those aren't contrails, they're chemtrails. They're laced into the diesel fuel of all the airplanes that fly and cloak all this madness, which causes sickness, death, cancer, all of which they profit from as they extract the wealth, extort the world's resources for themselves, and push out and class into this new class-based feudal system, a super elite and everybody else. And these are the hard-hitting, in-your-face facts and truths. And you need to go to God to find this discernment. It's not something I can give you. Can I get an amen? I need these likes up to 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. I can't do it without you. Again, I'm just one of God's servants. I'm just one guy who's been blessed by this platform with millions of eyeballs, who somehow put me here to give the word. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I've been blessed. All I know is I'm sitting before you today, humbly asking for your help so we can save more souls, so more people can be awakened to the good news. And by the way, there is good news in all of these horrors. And I'm going to share it with you today. But there will be trial, there will be tribulation, there will be suffering, there will be weakness among our fellow man, or even our brothers and sisters, and we need to pray for each other at this very moment in time, and we need to pray that all of us can ask God for the strength to resist Satan's deception and Satan's deceit, of which he's selling the world and selling countries and selling modern Babylon for the eternal damnation of what could only be described, as I open this video, man intentionally consuming his own flesh. Again, going to hell is an intention that I believe that people choose. Free will gives us the free will to choose God. And the punishment of going to hell is a choice. I don't think a lot of people think of it, about it that way. They think it's like punishment, like God just sits up there and is like, well, I'm going to strike you down and send you to burning fire pits or something like that. No, God loves you. God gave you the option to choose life or death. And in this fallen world, the test, we must choose life and not death. We do not want to consume our own flesh. So your separation from God is only an internal decision that you've made. It's not God's punishment. It's a decision you've made. This is how you become born again today, and we're going to save souls today. We're going to save souls today. They're going to reincarnate in the blood of Jesus Christ during this video because of your help, because of you sharing, because of you getting these likes up to 1,000. And people are going to ask by the dozens, maybe the hundreds, who knows, maybe the thousands, maybe the millions, maybe the billions in the great revival are going to ask for Christ's life and light. And they will shun the darkness and the eternal damnation and the consumption of their own flesh. And we're going to go directly to the Word to find not just inspiration, but the living Word and truth of what we know is coming. 667 people in the room, just one above 666. Do we not see the power of the Lord just in that? Get it up to 1667. Get the likes up to 1,000. Tech prophet Ray Kurzweil, this is how they call him a prophet. Okay, this is how the mainstream media predicates this man who predicted the iPhone years in advance, makes extremely alarming forecasts for the coming years. He says after 2029, but I believe that this is starting now, humans will begin to merge with machines. This means a biological merger and integration. Again, this thing we're not allowed to talk about isn't what you think it is. And you're going to have to do your own research on this. I can't do it for you. In addition to that, and that's a whole, groundbreaking topic right there that we could spend a year on if needed, by the way. Secondly, this tech prophet Ray Kurzweil, as they call him, says dead people will come back to life. So they're going to raise the dead like God. Dead people, he says, will come back first as simulations, then as printed living bodies. What do we open up the video with? Man consuming their own flesh, attempting to find the fountain of youth, the transhuman agenda, longevity solutions. We see all these billionaires like injecting themselves with like living tissues and recirculating blood from the young like vampires, and they don't get any sunlight. I mean, there's a reason why vampires are a part of the historical mystery and context and myth, so to speak, because it's not myth, because people have been seeking this for ages. They've been consuming their own flesh, quite literally, which now the technologists are doing. So, in his new book, The Singularity is Nearer, which is a follow-up to his previous groundbreaking book, The Singularity is Near, which talks about how when Moore's Law is reached, the parabola of computer intelligence exceeds human intelligence, where basically general artificial intelligence exceeds all of the intelligence of human beings. And then there's specialized intelligences pronged intelligences, et cetera, that then build upon themselves. Now, in his new book, he predicts that all humans will become immortal cyborgs by 2045. He's predicting that advancements in AI will make it possible to resurrect loved ones from the dead, it's very biblical, and connect our brains to cloud technology in what he calls the fifth epoch of human intelligence. I wonder what 6666 is, right? So let's backtrack here for a minute. He says that with the advancements of AI, which they already had pre-planned and started rolling out long before 2020, but only admitted that they had the technology after the lockdowns, of course, which is why they did the lockdowns in the first place, because again, all of this is connected quite literally to what I'm revealing and explaining to you today, which is the alien invasion, the alien reveal, the AI, the alien invasion, artificial intelligence. But he says all humans' brains will be connected to cloud technology via microchips and nanobots. Interesting, because how many times do we hear from the mainstream media and your friends and the people that love Elon Musk that his Neuralink chip is only for paraplegics? We hear it all the time. Oh, it's only for paraplegics, Christopher. It's only for the paraplegia. It's only for the people that need to learn how to play chess in their chair, in their wheelchair. Well, my brother was in a wheelchair and he didn't need a brain chip. So go take a hike, okay? Proving my point once again that everything I've ever told you is the truth. Elon Musk's microchips and brain implants are not just for a subset of society, it's for everybody. He's developed it for profit for everyone, so that every human being on planet Earth, just like he's attempting to sell every Tesla car to every person on planet Earth through his Borg system for profit, by the way, is to put these chips into your heads, which could only be labeled, in my view, my biblical spiritual view, the mark of the beast, is what Ray Kurzweil is telling us exactly is what is going to happen. One of Elon Musk's friends. That all humans will connect their brains to a cloud technology that will be limitless, built on a substrate outside of the human skull, in the cloud. This is what they're saying. And all human beings will not be allowed to buy or sell without it, but they are promising, this is what Satan does, the illusion and the fakeness of the consumption of what can only be called your own flesh, because they're literally consuming your own flesh with the chips. By genetically engineering and splicing your freaking DNA, okay, and installing genes and attributes to unborn children is consumption of flesh, for crying out loud. Everything they're doing is consumption of flesh. But selling these illusion of lies to the things that sound good, which I tell you all the time is how they're going to sell it. They don't sell these things, these demonic, evil, dark forces in a negative light. No, they sell it positively. Well, you'll be able to learn a new language. You'll learn how to fight. You'll be a UFC fighter if you just take the chip. You'll make more money. You'll be hired and get promoted. It'll improve your biology. You'll get six-pack abs. I've said this for years. This is how they're going to sell it. This was the next phase of selling that thing. This is the next phase of it. You're going to live forever. You'll never die. They're going to print human bodies. Okay? They're going to, save the world. Everybody will not have to work anymore. The machines will do everything for you. It's going to be so great. You're just going to roll around in your wheelchair with a freaking microchip in your head, playing video games all day and sucking Coca-Cola out of a straw. That's how they sell it. And so he calls this the fifth epoch of human intelligence. And this is a picture of the tech prophet Ray Kurzweil. For those of you that don't know him, again, I've read every single book on the topic and have predicted and warned about this for several decades. Now they're rolling out not just implants for your brain, but he says there will be resurrecting the dead very soon through simulations, but then the printing of human bodies. I wonder where they're going to get those bodies from. You guys ever thought about that? Body farming, which is currently going on right now in Black Ops, Deep State, DARPA operations, for those of you who don't know. They farm bodies all the time. They farm organs. They farm entire bodies. Right now, DARPA and the Deep State is farming bodies. Not just America, but China and all these countries with even looser rules than the United States, which is, tough to think about. I mean, because it couldn't get more corrupt here, but think about how much more corrupt it is other places. As they body farm and meddle with God's perfect creation and attempt to build human life. He says the singularity is the idea that artificial intelligence will eventually surpass human intelligence, fundamentally changing human existence. Kurzweil writes that babies born today will be just graduating college when the singularity happens. By the way, this is why Elon Musk tells you there's a baby crisis and a population decline. It's not what you think. Elon Musk isn't telling you that people aren't having enough babies. He's telling you he's replacing you with machines. You do understand this, right? A lot of people don't realize this. I've said this for years. It's not that there's a population decline. Elon Musk is warning you that you're being replaced. You're a replacement vessel. They're using you as a motherboard to install their microchips for profit, of which they will control you in every aspect of your life at a profit. And it's not that humans aren't having enough children, it's that you're being merged into a non-human, demonic, devil life form. That's what he's telling you. But a lot of people miss it. They just can't see the forest through the trees. They're just like, I don't know, that's what he said. I'll just believe whatever he says. Again, is Elon Musk a Christian, Christ-forward first representative of the kingdom of God, or is he a self-interested oligopolist technologist who does not believe in God and only motive is material and profit-driven? And I'll let you, find those answers for yourself. These are very important questions to ask of all leadership, political leadership as well. I mean, for example, I'm not perfect. I don't suggest that I am. But ask yourself this question. Would General Greene here on this camera, soon to be at 1,000 likes, ever sell you a brain implant microchip in your head? Would I ever do that? Have you ever seen me come on camera and say, hey guys, there's this great new microchip that I think you should install into your cerebral cortex. It's going to be amazing. I think you'll live forever and, it'll track whether or not you have pre-cancer. Doesn't it sound amazing? Did I ever sell you this? No. Did Elon Musk? I think you know the answer. So in one of Ray Kurzweil's most shocking predictions, he says that the dead will be resurrected and will come back to life. Kurzweil believes that AI technology holds the promise to bring back the dead. At first in the form of simulations, which replicate a person, then physically back to life. Kurzweil has been attempting to bring back his own father, who died when Kurzweil was 22, using AI that he began more than 10 years ago. He created a replicant of his father by feeding an artificial intelligence system with his father's letters, essays, and musical compositions. He writes, we are already creating, through our digital activities, enormously rich records of how we think and what we feel. And during this decade, our technologies for recording, storing, and organizing this information will advance rapidly. He says by the end of the 2020s, he expects, quote, highly realistic, non-biological recreations of people, and then living bodies. I wonder where they're going to get those bodies. You're the cadaver. Let it sink in. And they will be making copies of people. Now, he also promises that humans will be 1,000,000 times clever. So I want you to take a look at what Elon Musk is doing. This is a open brain. Okay, this is a cerebral cortex that is with an incision that's been made that's opened up the frontal lobe, much like a lobotomy. Well, have you ever seen that movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Have you ever seen it before? Cuckoo, cuckoo. where they gave people lobotomies. This is what Elon Musk has promised for your future, along with Ray Kurzweil. So get ready as a human biological experiment and cadaver for a couple incisions to be made, because they got chips that need to go into your head. And there's the chip. Read it and weep, quite literally. He says a key capability, this is Kurzweil again, in the 2030s will be to connect the upper ranges of our neocortices, your cerebral neocortex. And they will connect that to the cloud, which of course will be controlled by Bill Gates, Elon Musk. I mean, we know how trustworthy these people are. What could possibly go wrong, ladies and gentlemen? That they'll profit from, control, and probably run ads all over all day. That will directly extend our thinking, is what he promises. What does Satan tell you, or what does he sell you? That he'll give you the world as long as you consume your own flesh. Same thing Ray Kurzweil is selling you today. In this way, rather than AI being a competitor, it'll become an extension of ourselves, a new biological, non-human alien. Again, why are they revealing UFOs? Why did they release that they found a barbell unidentified flying object? A Pentagon contractor admitted it. Why are they telling you aliens are real? Why are they telling you that there's alien life living on moon bases, supposedly, when you can't even go to Antarctica, like you're really going to go to the moon? You're not even allowed to go to Antarctica, for crying out loud, but they tell you you're going to go to Mars. It's all lies. And they're selling you, which sounds good, which again, a sinful, fallen, Babylonic world is going to love, immortality. So Ray Kurzweil says, listen to him, take the mark, and they will give you immortality starting in 2030. So we are only, 5-6 years away from achieving immortality, according to Ray Kurzweil. He says this will be backed up by huge leaps in health treatments. Right? Health treatments. Wonder what those were in recent years for those that don't have any discernment. He writes that by 2030, AI biological simulators will do clinical trials in hours rather than years, leading to new drugs and longevity treatments, but they still haven't cured cancer. They can't cure Jeff Bezos' male pattern baldness. They haven't solved hunger, wage growth, the U.S. national debt, war, peace, poverty, famine. So I just want you to keep this in mind. They've done nothing to improve your lives. But he says by 2030, AI biological simulators will do clinical trials in hours rather than years, leading to new drugs and longevity treatments. Lies. And you're not going to Mars, and you're not going to the moon. You're not even allowed to go to Antarctica. But again, this is the deception of Satan. He calls this the fourth bridge, where humans can back themselves up, pretty much like you do with your iPhone cloud now with all your photos and videos, using technologies. He writes that the long-term goal, well, he's getting right down to it. He's just telling it right to our face. Here, let me just throw this up on the screen so you don't think that I'm the one saying it. The long-term goal is medical nanobots. The long-term goal is medical nanobots. I wonder what the delivery system for nanobots would be. Microscopic little robots that need to get into your bloodstream. I don't know, I can't figure it out. It's completely going over my head today, but I'm sure a few of you might, if you go to God, figure this out, which I know all of you have. And I'm being somewhat facetious, but many people can't see this. It's amazing that they can't see this, what the delivery system might be. So their long-term goal is medical nanobots. This will be made from diamondoid parts with onboard sensors, machines built by like NVIDIA stock. manipulators, computers, communicators, and possibly energy resources. He says life will become much cheaper and easier. That's lies. It'll raise standard of living of poverty where everyone's poor and there's a super elite class like Hunger Games that sits in an emerald tower. They'll tell you, no, it's good. You're eating bugs and you're eating crickets and your life sucks, but it's a much better standard of living than those old slaves, the ones that we bossed around to build the pyramids and, build the railroads and such. But, you've got, clean crickets, genetically modified, ready to eat. And you've got fake plant-based, not real, synthetically derived cancerous meats. So, your quality of life has really gone up. And plus, you're playing video games in Diablo via your brain with the microchip we put in your head. You're even flying to Mars, not physically, but using diamondoid parts with onboard sensors, manipulators, computers, communicators, and possibly energy sources, according to them. So it's all just a bunch of lies. And he says, entertainment, where we will feel every thought. Okay, which is why there is such a push to move in through this giant manipulation, get it up to 1,000 likes. Ladies and gentlemen, I see 772 here. And this is the deception rolling out now, and quite literally your life and soul is at stake. I can't put it any more bluntly. I open up the book of Ecclesiastes today, and I pray that the word will come from God, not me. I pray that we will find discernment in this holy of holiest words, that we will refuse and not comply with the pressures of our world and society as they force and jam down our throats, a ubiquity of nanorobotic technologies as well as brain implants, which we know prophetically, as we've read in the book of Revelation, is the mark of the beast, that we would refuse these technological oligopolists, consumption of flesh, and that we would not fall for the lies, deceit, and deception of very evil people in power that are governing unfairly as the ruling class today. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, it tells us, this is the New King James Version, that everything has its time under the sun. That everything has its time. That nothing is new. For those of you that don't know who King Solomon was, well, he basically had everything. Power, money, wealth, esteem, slaves. He was able to ingratiate himself in food and wine and mirth and lust and music and entertainment and fine things and prostitution and all kinds of sin. But what he learned throughout of his life, that not only was it all dust to dust, but it was a fool's errand. And there was only one truth, one narrow road to salvation. And there was only, let me just read. Everything has its time. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, and a time to die. Those words, as I was reading them earlier this morning, really struck me. I could feel the breath of life. Again, God breathed into the lungs of Adam and Eve, breath. The dust from the earth was breathed through breath into the creation of human life. And such simple scripture really got to me this morning as I read again, a time to be born and a time to die. And I thought about my own birth, which I believe I remember actually. I don't know if you do, but I remember my own birth. I remember coming to life. And you might have heard other people say that before, and the miracle of it, of creation, of just here suddenly. And a time to die, which for any of you who have experienced death, as many of you have, or have held a loved one, as I have, when they've passed, have seen it on both sides, not personally experiencing it, but through them, witnessing it and seeing the breath then go. It's the last thing to go. The breath of creation that it was breathed into Adam and Eve is the same breath that is extinguished upon death, and the lightning rod of that emanating through the universe. Now, I could feel that when my own brother died on my arms. I could feel his soul become everything, and to literally shatter the darkness through life and truth, and then was everywhere, and then gone. A time to plant. And why are those two lines so important? Because what is Ray Kurzweil? What are the technologists? What are Elon Musk? What are these people in power attempting to do? Well, they're attempting to consume their own flesh by removing death. Now, we also must keep in mind that these people fear death, of course, because I think they instinctually know they're going to hell, because they've chosen death with Satan. They've chosen the deception. They've chosen lust. They've chosen greed. They've chosen great evil. And so what consumes them daily with their consumption of their own flesh, quite literally, is removing death, the one thing they can't remove, which is why Ray Kurzweil and others and all these technologists and all these billionaires, this is why they're injecting them with younger blood. This is why the Kardashians, are bathing in blood. And they've been doing this for thousands of years. It's not new. Vampires are real because these are demonic, possessed, evil beings of spiritual dark forces that they've become. People with possession, people that have become possessed by the devil. These are all real things. And so it stood out to me because it became apparent that these people are consuming their own flesh with the attempt to remove death. It says there's a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill, I can't say that online, so I'll just spell it, and a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. I think you know what time it is now. I believe it's the time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. I know that whatever God does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. I know that whatever God does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. So what are these technologists attempting to do? Add to it. They're adding to it. It says right here, nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken from it. God does it, that men should fear before him. That which has already been and what is to be has already been. And God requires an account of what is past. It tells us about the injustice of the world. How we see under the sun in place of judgment, wickedness was there. It's all around us every day. Every single spigot of society, there's wickedness. And in the place of righteousness, there's iniquity. There's evil. There's hatred. There's envy. There's disgust. There's poor leadership. And King Solomon says in his heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked. For there is a time for every purpose and for every work. Again, we are not to judge. Our faith allows God to give judgment. And we must, I think, repeat that to ourselves over and over again in a very unfair world, which a lot of the times doesn't make sense and is unfair, clearly, with the rules against what is good. and then helping and for those that are evil, it's important to understand, but have the steadfast hand and faith that we know it's God who will give the judgment to not just the righteous, but also the wicked, and how we are all sinners, and we all must ask for our own forgiveness and grace. The good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are much closer to the imminent return of Jesus Christ. The good news, the holy gospel, is that we are now imminently close. I want to encourage all of you today, and this is also in the book of Ecclesiastes, of how we are all powerful together, united, and that a value of a friend is very important, and that we are not meant to go through this alone. This is what I believe the power of our community is here at AMTV, islandproject.com, everything that we have built over nearly 2 decades, is that we are powerful in numbers. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, 1 will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can 1 be warm alone? Though 1 may be overpowered by another, 2 can withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. It means we have power together, especially as believers, that 2 praying for the same thing is more powerful than just 1. That when we fall, we can rely on our brothers and sisters to help lift us up and to build us up. And that united as community and as the church and all of our endeavors, spiritual endeavors, business endeavors, relationship endeavors, so we are all more powerful through the glory of God, working together in a meaningful way. And so I share this good news with you today. I pray that you will share it and get it up to 1,000 likes. For those that are unaware what the global cabal elites are attempting to pull off with this great deception, share this video so people can be educated about it. And go read these articles and books for yourself and see exactly what they are doing with this consumption of flesh, radical brain chip technology, and nanobots that Ray Kurzweil himself says is the end goal. This is why they've built everything. This is why they rolled out AI. All of this is connected, by the way. This is even how I knew about Bitcoin earlier, years ago, because I already and always knew that all of this was interconnected, because all roads lead biblically. All roads, every fabric part of our society, no matter what it is, in business and life, all leads to the same destination. So with discernment, which we get from God, which we pray to God for that discernment. And if you don't have discernment, just ask for it. You might not have discernment because you're not praying to God. Ask him for discernment. Pray today and be like, God, please give me discernment. And he will. I believe that he will. And so, this is, people ask me a lot of times, how do you know all this stuff? And how have you gotten a lot of these predictions correct in the past? Those of you that have actually tuned in for almost 20 years now, is because I know all these roads lead biblically. And so they're really not predictions. They're just forecasts that have already been written in stone, so to speak. And keep in mind, a lot of people that follow this channel have only been following for, a month or a year or 2 years or 3 years. They haven't been with me for, 17, 18 years or whatever it's been. And so this is how we know. I'll just quickly touch on as well. I've been talking a lot about Joe Biden's demise, his removal from the White House, which is commencing now. He is actively being removed in what I believe is a Democratic coup of the White House. Again, everything they accused Republicans of is actually what they're doing. They're overthrowing the Biden administration, and they're going to put in a new plant in the name of Kamala. And then I think that they're going to run Michelle Obama. That's already happening, so a lot of people are just kind of focused on that right now. I think that the biggest thing that I would really like you to take away from this video is that we can all trust and have complete assuredness, faith, succinctness and peace of mind in the steady hand of God. And that as this world falls around us, as we see the tremors of Babylon, we see this in people's hearts. We see fear in America and worldwide. We see people fleeing. More people have removed their U.S. citizenship than really ever before here in the United States. People are looking for better opportunities elsewhere. But as those pillars are shaking, that's not what we should be focused on. Stop going to the world for the answers to your question when you're asking the question to the wrong thing. What we should be focused on is the surety, the steady hand, the succinctness, and the perfection of God's leadership, God's control, and God's plan that he's laid out for all of us tuning in. And once we seek it in the right places, which we seek in the Bible, we seek through prayer, we seek through brothers and sisters, we seek through community organizing, we seek through church, we even seek through our businesses, will give you the faith and the conviction and the peace of mind to be successful with leadership that's coming from God in an environment where everyone else will be shaken. And so we must remind ourselves of this, especially now during the state of the world that we're in, with the threat, which I believe we're in World War III. We are obviously in full-blown economic collapse. We are in biological meddling, integration, consumption of flesh. We are in a AI takeover, a singularity event. We are, watching currencies collapse worldwide, social frameworks collapse. We're seeing, sociological mindsets, movements, ideological movements clash. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's asking the question to the right person. And when we go to the right authority, that's where we'll find our peace, and that's where we're going to find the solution in all of our lives. Everything we've done and everything that I've personally built as a part of this platform is solution-driven and solution-oriented. You know what that solution is? It's Jesus, and it's also our daily pursuit and endeavors here at islandproject.com, the digital Noah's Ark. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but for all of our new members and new subscribers that don't know what this is, learn about this. It's very easy to understand. It's a $33.5 million investment portfolio. We own the best real estate in the world. This includes 10 to 12 properties here in Maui, Oahu, Hawaii, and now Park City, Deer Valley. Beautiful properties, no bank debt. Each year they spit off cash flows. All of our members are 100% equity owners. They own a piece of the rock in Maui, Oahu, Deer Valley, and the host of other properties. If you have any questions on the property specifics, you can call my dad at 808-442-2934. You can onboard very easily at islandproject.com in the members tab. We accept ACH, wire transfer. We prefer crypto. In addition to that, we are tokenizing the Island Project. What does that mean? In addition to owning the best real estate in the world outside of the banks during economic and financial collapse and global chaos and spiritual warfare, we are taking the $33.5 million portfolio and putting it on public markets. This means all of our members will receive value from the token launch. See our terms and disclaimers. I have to say I'm not a financial advisor and cannot predict future results. See that at islandproject.com. Will receive a reward for the units that they own of the real estate. This will trade like any other cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, in a global marketplace and will have a value. All of our members will receive that value. In addition to the units that they own that can never change in the underlying $33.5 million portfolio with no bank debt, that always has an appraised value, always has cash flows, has liquidity, and amazingly some use, because we thought that that was very cool. It is the best investment class in the world. It is the #1 solution in the world. It is a state-of-the-art blockchain technology, tokenizing real estate for the first time in world history. All of our members, myself, my team, and my amazing father, Papa John Greene, are a part of this amazing mission. We just closed on a brand new beautiful property in Park City, and we have properties 5 and 6 currently under active negotiations now. We filed with regulators in July, 2 years ago, on July 4th, marking our Declaration of Independence. And we're doing amazing, wonderful things every single day and working our butts off because, again, where are we the most powerful? We are the most powerful as a community. We are steadfast on the same mission. Who's your leadership again, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you to beg this question to the people that rule over you. Are they leading Christ forward, God first, and faith first? Or are they leading for something else? I'm not here to judge, but I'm asking the question. Again, I would never sell you a brain chip. I have always told you never to comply. I have shared with you the 1000X mindset for 20 years now. I've made many of you incredibly successful as a result with my Bitcoin recommendations, many of my crypto picks. Now what we're doing in real estate, transforming the game long before BlackRock and these multinational corporations that don't like you get in. And I think a lot of you are starting to better understand what we've built. Again, we are the first early bird movers, buying the best private assets in the world and solving a real world problem. Most Americans can't afford a home. They can't afford a single family home. They can't build equity. They don't have access to it. They can't get a loan, and they can't own it. In addition to that, almost no one can afford to own the best real estate in the world on the beach or on the ocean like what you see behind me. But you can do it now with islandproject.com because we designed it for the first time in world history, which allows you to participate in real ownership, cash flows, and capital gains, and tokenization. We turnkey all of this, and we're doing this for all of our member investors. I'm in charge of the blockchain launch. We were positioning for our launch in 2024 and in early 25. We're doing all of this for you in a very turnkey, simplified way, long before most people recognize how big this truly is. Just like how most people missed Bitcoin, how most people missed social media, how most people missed Google stock, how most people missed it all. We're early because, again, all roads lead to the same destination biblically. We already know where it's going. They've told you you're not going to own anything and you'll be happy. So the solution is go out and own something and join forces while you still can. Don't be late to the party. You know, we saw this during the gold rush, right? They started to hear that people were getting really wealthy striking gold. We've seen it with Bitcoin, and then they're late to the party. They start heading out west after all the gold has been mined. Don't try to onboard islandproject.com after our entire portfolio has already been built and you're locked out from getting in forever. Because we're early now, but 2 years from now, it ain't gonna be early anymore and you're not gonna be able to get in. And by the time it's obvious and you're rushing to the doors, the gold rush is here. It appears Christopher General Greene was right again, and tokenized real estate's the #1 asset in the world and the biggest blockchain advent in history. It'll be too late. By then, you'll be like everybody else, late to the game, not a first mover, not pivoting, leveraging, and profiting well in advance. And you certainly will have not successfully built your life raft and what I've dubbed commanded from God, the digital Noah's Ark, who gave me the vision for Island Project and all the great, amazing things that we have been building. All glory to him as he's laid all this out. Keep in mind, I wouldn't be able to accomplish any of this unless it was God's will. I've only been able, along with my team and my father and our members, accomplish this amazing vision of true ownership in the best places in the world because it has been God's will. And as it tells us in the Bible, God is the judge, and God will, deliver his judgment to both the pure of heart and to those on the other side, consuming their own flesh. And so I come to all of you guys today just with a prayer that and from a place of love in my own heart that it really is critical that you join forces, even if it's not with us, then join forces with somebody because we are all stronger together, operating on a narrow path in a single direction with concentrated energy to something that is amazing and something that is great and something that can actually provide a real world solution to all of your lives. I say it all the time. I listen to a lot of different media figures just like you do. I haven't found one yet that provides a solution. Not one. And it's why I take great humility in the fact that I know through the commandment of God what we have built is a true solution for all of you. And I love you. Learn about it. Call Papa John. Click the link below. Onboard your first 30 units today. Become a member and become your own solution to get stronger in an environment where all the pillars are shaking around us. I have the best team in the world. My father is best in the world. My dad is the most steadfast hand you have ever met in your life. Just even have a conversation with him and get to know the guy and get to know me. And you will find, as many of you have asked me for years, Christopher, where's the Christian billionaire class doing something for me? Where are these good people that are willing to put it all on the line and fight back with their own capital, their own energy, their work ethic, the risks that we take on a daily basis? Well, you're looking at them right here. And when you look at my father in the eye, you're looking at him. And when you look at our members, you're looking at all of us together, working together, building something incredible. And it is just an amazing honor. Again, very simple to understand. Best real estate portfolio in the world. Outside of the bank's wallet collapses with no bank debt. Cash flows, gains, just like any other real estate investment, but you own the best. Beach, oceanfront, now a ski lodge, more properties to come, being tokenized, which is going to be our biggest wealth creation event thus far, which I believe will 1,000x, multiple 1,000x. And as I've said many times before, even a 30K investment, in my opinion, I have to say it's my opinion, just with 30x, which is very easy to do in the blockchain space, done every single day, will make you a millionaire. Can't promise that, but it's what I absolutely 100% 1,000x intend. And we've been way ahead of the curve with Bitcoin. We've been way ahead of the curve with many things over the last 2 decades. And we are the first in the world to fractionalize and soon to tokenize real world assets before BlackRock, who we are against, and to do something special that will empower you in an environment where, again, the people in charge, this is no different than thousands or millions of years ago, have built a class-based system, really a feudalist-based system, of which they're taking over the world, and people like Ray Kurzweil say they're going to install microchips in your head, put it on the freaking cloud, and I don't want any part of it. So build your own ecosystems, ladies and gentlemen. Be the solution or be a part of the problem. And it's honestly a lot easier and a lot more fun and a lot more glorifying to God to be strong, to be someone set out on a mission, so to speak, building yourself up rather than building people, tearing people down. It's easy to be a critic. It's easy to tell people why things, can't work, or why this can't be done, or why other people are wrong. It's almost like a bell curve. And I'll leave you with this. There's a bell curve of kind of human emotion. There's the people over here that'll tell you, oh, that sounds like a good idea, and they go all in. There's this guy right in the middle who can't make a decision, who overthinks everything. He sits right at the top of the bell curve, and he goes back and forth, and his brain explodes, and he never makes a decision. This could be you. I hope it's not you. If it is, move to one of the other sides. But they never make a decision, and they always defeat themselves. Then there's the guy over here who's really, really smart. He's a brainiac who sees all the good benefits of a solution, and he goes all in. So you have the person that just goes all in because it sounds like a good idea. You have the person that's super, super hyper intelligent who sees everything for what it is and then goes all in because he sees how it's a good idea. And then these people in the middle never do anything. And this is why a lot of you ask me sometimes, they're like, well, how is it seems like people that aren't that smart over here, have all this success, all the power, all the money, Everything seems to work out for them almost like in Forrest Gump fashion because they're not thinking too hard. Their action is more important than them thinking. Don't overthink it. When you see a good idea or you see a good opportunity, go all in. It's the secret to life. It's the secret to sports. It's the secret to getting the girl. It's the secret to business. It's a secret to making money and winning investments. And the number one winning investment in the world is this right here. islandproject.com. Get in now. Want to see you there. God bless. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for getting up to thousands of likes. And I encourage all of you to pray to God for discernment in these trying times, as now the great reveal has been revealed and these demonic forces unearth themselves and arguably go rogue, telling us straight to their faces that their end goal is nanobot insertions into our bloodstreams, according to Ray Kurzweil and others, and the hybrid implementation neurological brain chip merger of these new microchip devices being developed by the world's oligopolists, which I again ask, who do these people serve? And who are they working for again? Because you really need to ask these questions.